Many months after, Edamazi Ogbonna refused and denied Ifunanya of her education and chances to go to school. She reported him to the elders in council about the initial agreement concerning her education. But Edamazi Ogbonna lied to them all that he had little financial challenge and promised to send her back to school as soon as possible. Few months later, Ifunanya gave birth to a baby girl. Mazi Ogbonna was so angry when he heard it was a baby girl, and his hatred for Ifunanya was obvious. Welcome to Choma's Folktales. Today's story is Once upon a time, there lived a teenage girl who was very intelligent and hardworking, named Ifunanya. Ifunanya was born into a traditional home in a small village in the eastern part of Nigeria. Ifunanya's dream of becoming a lawyer in the future. She dreams of becoming the first female lawyer in the village. Female children were seen as nothing, and as such, they were never given the opportunity to go to school, for they believed that the female children are only good in the kitchen and they have no right to make decisions and have a proper education. But Ifunanya wanted to change that narrative with all costs, and so she kept studying hard to become the lawyer she had always dreamt of. Ifunanya was the best student in the entire school because she was never lazy to study. One morning, Ifunanya's teacher called her father and told her about Ifunanya's efforts. "Please, sir, I see a lot of potentials in Ifunanya. She is very intelligent and hardworking towards her education and future. Please, do everything and anything within your power to make sure her efforts are not wasted and doesn't end up like every other female children in this village. Ifunanya wants to be the best and first female lawyer, and for that, she needs to go to the higher institution to acquire that. Please, see to it that this is a reality, and I bet you that she will come back successful and make you proud." Ifunanya's father agreed and promised to send Ifunanya to the university to accomplish her dream of becoming the best and first female lawyer in the village. Ifunanya was so happy when she heard her father's words of assurance and sincerity, and that finally she won't end up like every other girl child in the village. One day, after her promotional exam, she came back home from school and met her mother crying, and she kept wondering what had happened and asked her why she was crying. "Mother, what happened and why are you crying?" Then her mother replied her saying, "Your husband and in-laws will be coming tomorrow to pay your bride price." "My husband? Bride price? For who?" Ifunanya asked. Her mother replied again, saying that her father had already given her out for marriage to a man old enough to be her father. "But how and why?" Ifunanya asked again. "Your father agreed to it because he promised to give him lands and properties, and without thinking twice, your father accepted his proposal of getting you married to him." When Ifunanya's father came back from the farm, Ifunanya asked her father to confirm. Then he said to her not to worry, that her husband would send her to school after the marriage. Ifunanya was so sad and she cried deeply and bitterly, but nothing she and her mother could do about it, since they are both girl child and their opinions were not needed. Ifunanya's teacher pleaded with her father to change his decision, but Ifunanya's father was so blinded by the money, lands and properties that Ifunanya's soon-to-be husband promised him. Ifunanya was only 15 years old when her father gave her out to a man old enough to be her father, out of greed for material things. The day of the marriage came, and Ifunanya was given out as the sixth wife of Edamazi Ogbonna. Ifunanya cried day and night for not only giving out to a man old enough to call grandfather, but also her dream of becoming a lawyer was shattered. All she could do was to cry all day, for there was none to help her. Edamazi Ogbonna was eager to have a male child. He only had 10 daughters from his 5 wives, so that was why he married Ifunanya, as he believed that girls of her age only and easily give birth to male children. Many months after, Edamazi Ogbonna refused and denied Ifunanya of her education and chances to go to school. She reported him to the elders in council about the initial agreement concerning her education. But Edamazi Ogbonna lied to them all that he had little financial challenge and promised to send her back to school as soon as possible. So she went back to his house again. Few months later, Ifunanya gave birth to a baby girl. Mazi Ogbonna was so angry when he heard it was a baby girl, and his hatred for Ifunanya was obvious. He started mistreating her, forcing her to go to the farm, streams and markets. He beat her up at every given opportunity simply because he was expecting a male child from her. Ifunanya fell ill and there was no one to help her, and her father never took her serious. She continued to suffer in the hands of her husband, Edamazi Ogbonna. Ogbonna's senior wife could no longer bear the ill treatment by their husband towards Ifunanya. She felt pity for her and helped her. Ogbonna never cared about his wives, as they all fed for themselves. The wives joined hands together to help Ifunanya by giving her food and taking care of her and her baby since she was still a child. After 1 year, Ifunanya gave birth to another baby girl. Mazi Ogbonna's anger towards her increased and he beat her up day and night even without any offense. Mazi Ogbonna's wives sent a message to Ifunanya's mother, telling her to come and take Ifunanya away from Mazi Ogbonna before he kills her out of anger and hatred. Ifunanya's mother was so sad about the news, and the following night, she brought Ifunanya back home. The next morning, Ifunanya's father was surprised to see her and her 2 children, and asked her why she ran away from her husband's house. Ifunanya narrated all that had happened and all the suffering she went through, but her father insisted that she go back to her husband's house and blamed her for all that happened. He tried forcing her to go back when her mother speaks out for the very first time and warned her husband, Ifunanya's father, never to force her daughter back to Mazi Ogbonna's house. Few months after, Ifunanya's youngest daughter died of strange illness, and it was a painful day and moment for Ifunanya and her mother, for the pain of losing a child was never an easy one. Ifunanya and her mother mourned their loss for months in pain. One day, Ifunaya's teacher heard that Ifunanya was no longer in her husband's house, and she decided to visit her and promised to sponsor her education to any level of her choice. She also said that after seeing the good potentials in her and her dream of becoming the best first female lawyer, that she had no choice than to decide to take care of her university course to any level in order for her to achieve her dreams. Ifunanya and her mother were so happy to hear the good news. Ifunanya started studying again to bring her dream back. 3 months after she enrolled for her final SSCE and weeks to her final exam, Mazi Ogbonna came with huge amounts of money and gave it to Ifunanya's father in order to take Ifunanya back home. He accepted the money and promised to bring Ifunanya back to him himself. When Ifunanya and her mother heard about it, they told Ifunanya's teacher about her father's plan of taking her back to Mazi Ogbonna. Her teacher then took Ifunanya to start staying with her till she completes her education. The next day, Ifunanya's father searched everywhere for her, but she was nowhere to be found. 2 weeks after, Mazi Ogbonna did not hear from Ifunanya's father, nor did he see Ifunanya. Then he decided to pay a visit, and when he was told that Ifunanya ran away, and then told Ifunanya's father to pay him back all the money he had given to him from day one, or else he would deal with him. Ifunanya's father was so scared, for he had no power nor connection to fight Mazi Ogbonna, and he also had no money to pay him back. Few weeks later, Mazi Ogbonna collected the only land Ifunanya's father had in replace of the money he had given to him, and threatened to kill him if he reported to the elders in council or tried to fight back. Then Ifunanya's father realized his mistake and lived with guilt and regrets. Years later, Ifunanya was through with her education and started working for the government with a huge amount of monthly payments. She won many cases in the Supreme Court across the nation. She became so famous not only in her village but all over the world. Built a big house for her parents in the village, and also built a house for her teacher as an appreciation for making her dreams come true. Her father later apologized to her for all the wrong he had done to her in the past, and she forgave him wholeheartedly. And with the help of other villagers, the king denounced the discrimination of a girl child, and from that day onward, every girl child was given a better education and equal rights in the village. Ifunanya's story serves as an inspiration to all, most especially the female children. Ifunanya later got married to a wealthy nice man who loved her and her daughter as his own, and they lived happily ever after. Lessons from this is that children are gifts from God, whether male or female. Treat them equally without discriminations, for you do not know the one that would be of help to you tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please let me know where you are watching us from at the comment section, and don't forget to support our channel by subscribing, like, share and comment below. It really helps us a lot to grow. See you soon in our next story. Bye.